Hello Excel warriors! If you are still using VLOOKUP or INDEX match in your workbooks, I'm afraid you're out of touch. These may have been the cornerstones of Excel decades past, but nowadays they are outdated and tired, and using them is just slowing you down. Here's how XLookup will help you modernise your Excel game. But first, in case you're new to the channel, hello and welcome. My name is Elliot and it's great to have you here. I'm sharing tutorials, tips and tricks on everything that I've learned on my journey from Excel beginner all the way to reaching the final 32 in last year's Microsoft Excel World Championship. This year I'm aiming to reach the grand finals live in Las Vegas, so make sure you subscribe to follow my journey and we can excel together. Every time I open Excel, I find myself reaching for XLookup. It's my secret weapon, whether I'm analysing data, creating dashboards, or competing in Excel Esports. In fact, it's so powerful that I'm dedicating an entire series just to this one function. By the end of it, you'll be using it to solve all sorts of complex scenarios. Today, I'm going to show you how XLookup saves you time, impresses your colleagues, and helps you claim your crown as the Office Excel champion. So, what exactly is a lookup? Imagine this. You have a table with a list of names and various attributes. Say you wanted to know Rory's Excel skill. As a human, that's easy, right? We just look up Rory in the name column, follow the row, and see his Excel skill is 1. Sorry for calling that out, Rory. Maybe try subscribing to the channel and we'll see if we can increase that score a bit. Okay, mate? For a computer, though, it's not that simple. It doesn't know if you want this value or that value or any of these values. That's why we need a lookup function in Excel. The OG lookup functions were VLOOKUP and its sister HLookup. If your colleagues are performing lookups, this is probably what they're using. VLOOKUP takes a search value, an entire table range, and a number for which column from that range to return from, in our case, 4. However, this function shows its age with its many drawbacks. The search value you're looking for must be in the first column of that table range. As a corollary, anything we're looking to return must therefore be to the right of this lookup column. The third argument is a static index value, which you have to count and put in manually. This means it won't update dynamically if you insert a column into the table and it will just start returning the wrong column instead. In these cases, it would be up to you to go back and change every index value in these VLOOKUP functions. Finally, if you search for something that wasn't in the table, Microsoft decided the default behaviour would be to return the next best thing. This means if you searched Rory, you'd still get Rory's result. I cannot get my head around why they thought this was a good idea. Maybe they thought that data colleagues and financial analysts don't really care about accuracy. To stop this weird behaviour, we have to include a supposedly optional false at the end of the function. This tells it to only return if there's an exact match in the table, and otherwise throw an error. I can't tell you the number of silly mistakes I made forgetting to include that one argument, meaning I was sending results for things that weren't even in the table to begin with. VLOOKUP's sister function, HLookup, works in much the same way, except that HLookup is for horizontal tables, while VLOOKUP is for vertical tables. Remembering to add in the false at the end, or wasting time counting rows and columns, makes these functions slow and error-prone. The alternative to VLOOKUP has always been index match, which is a definite improvement, albeit a more complex one. It consists of 2 functions. Match takes a search term and tells you its position within a range. We're using Rory and the name column. You also have to include a 0, or you get the same approximate match behaviour as seen with VLOOKUP. On the other hand, index basically does the reverse. It takes a range and tells you the corresponding value at a given position, in our case the Excel skill column and the number 5 from that match function. Putting them together, they can perform more flexible lookups. You only need the one setup whether you're looking vertically or horizontally. Index match goes both ways. Secondly, because it doesn't have a static index argument, it doesn't break when new columns or rows are added to the table. It can even perform a 2D lookup by including 2 match functions. Here, we take the entire set of attribute values from the table to return from, and we match with Rory in the name column to get the row number, and Excel skill in the headers to get the column number. However, this approach still requires optional arguments just to avoid an approximate match. Not only that, but you need to know 2 of the more abstract functions and how they fit together, making it a nightmare to come across in a shared workbook for an Excel newbie. Enter XLookup. This function simplifies lookups, giving you the full flexibility of index match without any of the added cognitive load. Let's break down the syntax. XLookup takes 3 required arguments: a lookup value, a lookup array, and a return array. It also has 3 optional arguments, but we'll cover those in a future video. Simply put, with XLookup you tell it what you're looking for, where to look, and where to return from. No more counting columns or dealing with exact match frustrations. It's a real game changer. Even better, if you want to do a horizontal lookup, it's as simple as changing the lookup and return ranges to horizontal ranges instead. You can even do a two-dimensional lookup, but we'll cover that next time. Putting this all together, we can see that XLookup is the clear choice. While V and HLookup can only look in one direction, index match and XLookup go both ways. XLookup is as robust as index match with no static index arguments, and it's the only lookup approach that assumes you want an exact match by default, meaning you don't have to include any optional arguments for what should be the default behaviour. The simple arguments and intuitive default behaviour make it the easiest lookup method to use, while still maintaining the flexibility of index match. Clearly, XLookup is the Excel function we've all been waiting for. It takes seconds to learn, minutes to teach, and your colleagues will think you're an Excel maestro with all the time you save them. That's all for our intro to XLookup. I hope it was useful for you. Make sure you check out the rest of the series because those advanced techniques and optional arguments turn XLookup into one of the most powerful functions in your Excel toolkit. Until next time, thanks for watching and keep excelling.